Welcome to the best Bettor. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Kiprios.
And I'm your other host. My name is Jimmy the Bag, and the playoffs are here, Kip. And it was an ugly start. There was carnage and losses on top of losses, piling on top of losses. There's a lot of pressure in the playoffs, and some of these guys can't handle the heat.
There's been a massive evacuation order from the kitchen because there's just a little bit too much heat. Yes, on the best Bettor, the only show dedicated to competitive sports betting. We gave 5 people $1,000 each. We did 6 weeks of that. Now we're in the playoffs. Here are the rules. You have to make you have to make 4 bets, and you have to put at least 10% on each one of those bets, but there are no maximums. You can bet as much as you want. Last week, Jimmy and I were in the watch party. It was a mandatory bet. The Raps went into the Suns, and people got crushed. Let's find out what happened last week in a little segment that we like to call
Follow the Money.
You do not need a magnifying glass to follow the clues. All of the picks are transparent at Play USA on Friday. And you don't need to be Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote to see that last week was an absolute bloodbath. Let's take a look at the leaderboard right now. The girls are on top. Right now, Bridget Case still holding strong at the first spot. Tiffany Michelle vaults up from 3rd to 2nd. First time she's moved up out of 3rd. And in 3rd, what about Bob? Big Shot Bob is in 3rd. In 4th, we've got Jon Orlando climbing up the charts. And number 5 from first to worst is David Tuckman. Take me through the week that was, Jimmy.
Jon Orlando wins the week with $0. He saved himself in the sport he hates the most, NBA, and made a couple nice bets to break even. Tiffany Michelle started off beautifully cashing the Raptors Moneyline, and it fell off after that. And then the bloodbath begins. The next 3 players all down $500 plus Bob Guiney, Bridget Case, and then David Tuchman right in ye old drink hole down $739 in the first round of the playoffs.
Bridget Case, former cheerleader, current podcaster, TikTok sensation, also hits the Bet Midler. We give an award for the biggest wager that actually comes in. She put down $213 on Miami +9 and that cash, but that was about it. Take me through her week, please.
Bridget Case had herself a very rough week. She started with an NBA parlay, 3 legs, Booker to 20 plus points, Celtics -1150, Suns -225. I didn't like this bet at all. Booker to go for 20 plus at -440 means an 81.48% implied probability, 82% chance he goes for 20 plus. I didn't like it. He didn't get to 20 plus until 52 seconds left in the game. Celtics -1150, they won, but is that really going to help your parlay? I did not like the NBA parlay, but she has shown that she's very savvy in NCAA basketball. Her 4-leg parlay almost cashed. It was just Illinois that got upset by Indiana was the only leg that didn't come through for her. Then she had a 2-game parlay. She had in the A10 quarters, she had Fordham, Davidson to go over 129. They did that, but she tied it to Auburn who got upset by Texas A&M. Her Miami +9, the Bet Midler, was a beautiful bet. Her live bet on Booker, over 23.5 points, I don't mind that. She did that at +112. I don't mind doubling down on your belief that this player is going to have a good game and you're getting a plus line. And he almost got there. He missed a 3 with 24.2 seconds left and another one with 14.8 seconds left. No problem with that. But she needs to stay in first, and that's not going to be easy with weeks like this.
No, but the girls are on top. Tiffany Michelle, as I said, she goes from 3rd to 2nd. You know her. She's one of the most decorated female poker players of all time from The Amazing Race. And guess what else? The girls are really together because she got the Betty White. Yeah, that's the award we give for the biggest percentage yield by a bet. She had the Raps going into Phoenix straight up at +210, and she hit that. Take it from Tiffany Michelle's week.
That was a thing of beauty. A great bet. She got a great line on it. She got +210. She got in early. For example, Jon Orlando made the same bet, but at +170. Tiffany got 40 cents better. Shrewd look, bet good size amount on it, and reap the rewards. Her Will Zalatoris top 10 finish in the Players' Championship almost came through. It almost came through. He had a very poor final round, a +2 that knocked him out of the top 10. And had he stuck in the top 10, she'd be in first here. She would have been first overall in the contest. That's how close she came. Then she had the Man City Moneyline, Tottenham Moneyline. And Tottenham was the big dog in this parlay. And it was too bad they lost 3-2 to Manchester United. And Cristiano Ronaldo went off for a hat trick and turned back the clock and was magical. But I liked the look on Tottenham. She had the Timberwolves -7, New York, Memphis under 231. Orlando Magic stepped up. They continue to do that. It's been about 2 weeks now of playing good ball. They beat the Timberwolves outright by 8, and the Knicks-Memphis score went to 232, so she didn't get that. And I didn't like the live bet on the Raptors -6.5. She already had them on the money line for a big score, and they were up 10 in the fourth quarter, a perfect opportunity to middle. She could have got the Suns +6.5 at +102. So I didn't like her doubling down at a much worse price, whereas we saw Bridget Case double down at a much better price, which I do like. But it wasn't a horrible week for Tiffany Michelle, and she is right in the thick of things.
That's right. And what about Bob Big Shot Bob Guiney? You know him from The Bachelor 4th season and the first season of The Bachelorette. He was in first a couple weeks ago. Now he finds himself in third. How did he do last week, Jimmy?
He had a rough week, down $513. The Vegas Pittsburgh under 6.5. I liked the bet. Problem for me was the Knights had a goaltender out of the AHL, undrafted goalie. I didn't know what he was going to give the Knights, but I like unders in Pittsburgh games, and that would have come through except for an empty net goal late. So that wasn't a bad bet. Indiana, Illinois over 137.5. Illinois just didn't pull their end of the bargain. Indiana did. Big upset, but it went under 65-63. The Fordham Davidson under 131.5. He cheated it to 131.5 at -152. That worked for him. There was 130 points scored in this game, but I don't like paying for points on a total at all. Then he took Gary Trent Jr. under 18.5 points, and word got to Gary Trent that Bob Guiney did not believe in him, and Trent went off. 8 of 11 from 3, 13 of 21 from the field for 42 points, right in Bob Guiney's face. And then in anger, Bob Guiney put $190 on the Suns -3.5, a huge live bet, and that did not come through for Bob Guiney as the Raptors took care of business. A tough week for Big Shot Bob.
And now we get to Jon Orlando. Yeah, wisecracks, action junkies. You know him, you love him, I love him. He's been the biggest wiener 2 weeks, and last week, he is the biggest winner. Don't get that excited. He's the biggest winner with $0. That's how bad it was. That's how tough it was out there. Tell me about Jon Orlando's week, please, Jimmy.
Started off with a 4-leg UFC parlay that didn't come through right off the top on the undercard. Kennedy took out Matinho, so that was moot. Then he had another big parlay tied to the Devin Booker first bucket, and he hit 4 of the 5 UFC spots, so he came close with he does have a huge score in him. I know that. Then he had $100 on Booker to score the first field goal of the game at +450. This is crazy to me. This is the wildest type of bet I can imagine. Like, I get nervous betting first quarters. That's 12 minutes. But he's betting the first field goal of the game. The tip is the most important spot in the entire game for him. That's just nuts, and it didn't come through for him. Booker didn't score his first basket until 6.5 minutes into the game, but he took the Raptors money line, $72, that cashed at +170, and he live bet the over 5.5 rebounds for Gary Trent Jr. at +122. Gary Trent was having a monster game. He knew that Nurse was going to keep him on the floor for 40-plus minutes, and that was a beautiful bet, and NBA took care of him, and those were crucial. It was crucial that he could get that cash back so that he has enough bullets to fire in round 2 of the playoffs this week.
All right, from the biggest wiener, we get to David Tuckman, last week's biggest wiener. That is right. The onions all over your face. You can't help but cry when you see what happened the last 2 weeks in a row. You know him from 888 Poker, NASCAR, NHL. The guy is a beast. He was on top for 3 weeks, and now he finds himself in the basement. Jimmy, what's going on with Tux?
Back-to-back tough weeks for Tuchman, and not when you want to have him. The last week of the regular season, the first week of the playoffs, it hurts. He started well. Toronto Phoenix over 222.5. I was on the other side. He was victorious. It was a nice bet. Then he put $400 on the Lightning at the Oilers. I know he's thinking the Lightning are going to bounce back after the loss to Calgary. They did not. The very dangerous road favorite situation, something I don't want to have anything to do with in any sport. Then he had the Blackhawks at Senators. He had the Senators to win. I liked this bet. I talked to you about it on the Friday night that I liked it. I didn't move on it myself, but it made a ton of sense to me. The Sens were up 2-0 after the first, and I remember thinking, man, Tuckman was bang on. This was a bet I should have been on. And then the Blackhawks erupt in the second and third periods and win 6-3. That one hurt. That one hurt just as a friend of Tuck's watching that go down. Then I didn't like the 3-game parlay, Penguins, Canucks, Lightning, just because, and I said this on our show, really, you only getting plus 387 on that? for the Lightning to go into Edmonton and beat them, the Canucks to beat the Washington Capitals and Ovi, the Penguins to beat Vegas, who were, the second favorite in the Western Conference a month ago. He live bet the Suns right after tip-off at minus 210. That didn't come through for him either. He's going to have to come out guns a-blazing this week and get back in this contest.
Well, listen, the girls are out there still celebrating. We can't afford them. So let's bring in the fellas. Without further ado, we've got our third place, Bob Guiney, and fourth, Jon Orlando. Yes, and we are live with Bob Guiney and Jon Orlando. How you fellas doing?
Good.
Well, Jon, you are this week's big winner. What a change. You've been the biggest winner a couple of times. Now David Tuckman is going to be singing you a song. How does it feel?
I'm in shock, to be honest, because I would have thought I was in last this week. I know I hit a couple of bets, but I just figured, I'm screwed this week. How did this happen? How could I have been in first? I don't understand.
Jon, you've claimed that basketball is not your thing, that you do not even like basketball, you don't watch basketball, and that you're a UFC expert. I'm going to gently nudge you to stop betting on UFC and 17 fight parlay and keep betting on NBA and college as we switch over, because you are a genius. You're a bracket buster when it comes to the NBA and basketball. Just keep staying there, Jon. That was
yeah. I think that's good advice. I can't seem to pick a fight to save my life. Well, I shouldn't say that, but you're right. These parlays, I keep swinging for the fences, but sooner or later, I'm gonna get a hold of one.
I believe it.
It's like any postseason, right? It's all about who gets hot in the postseason, and clearly, I'm getting hot.
Bob, your biggest rival, Tiffany Michelle, has passed you and is now in second place. How does it feel?
They say even the sun shines on a dog's ass once in a while. And I think that I love Tiffany, and I'm excited. I'm excited that she can finally feel what Jon and I have been feeling week in and week out. I couldn't stay on top forever, right? Sooner or later, I had to get whooped. But no, I know what Jon's doing, swinging for the fences, man. That was my game plan early, and thankfully it worked out. You wouldn't know after last week. I'm shocked I'm not singing to Jon Orlando this week. So I'm thankful. I went 0 for 5 with my bets this week. I got spanked.
No, you cashed the Fordham Davidson under.
Oh, I did catch Fordham. That's right. I forgot about that. You're right. I got one.
You cheated it to 131.5, and it landed on 130. So you got that. Also, we have a player in Toronto who's been struggling miserably, Trent Jr., and somebody told him that Bob Guiney had taken the under on his point total on Friday night.
Off.
Explodes for 42 points, 42. Goes 8 of 11 from 3. So everybody in Toronto, very, very thankful, Bob.
You're welcome, Toronto. You're welcome. I wanted to do something for the great city of Toronto.
As you guys know, we have a mandatory in-game bet that has to come in. Bob text messages me. I don't see it. Jimmy and I are live on the air, and I'm just about to put it in. I think I'm putting the bet in, and you text message me right after going the other way. So initially he came in with Toronto, and he comes, if you can change it. There was controversy. Bridget's like, I co-sign. It's okay. We're going to give Bob the bet that he wants.
Bridget's a genius, because I would have rallied on that one. Yeah, it's so unfortunate. So my wife and I had our first night out. We have kids. It was our first night out. My sister came over to watch our kids, and we're just out having a time. And I'm like, I know, I got a feeling about this game. And one of my buddies tells me, I text him. I'm like, here's what I'm doing. I'm pretty excited about it. He's like, no, that's a wrong bet, man. And I didn't trust my gut, Johnny O. I didn't trust my gut, and I went with him instead. And I actually tripled my bet. Instead of a $50 bet, I made it a $190.
Oh my God. That's the cardinal sin. You always go with the first bet. Always.
I know.
I was once at the racetrack, and I walked up. I wanted a 5-4 exacta. So I go $50 exacta 5-4, and she goes $50 exacta 9-4. And I go, no, I said 5-4, but now you have to give me a 9-4 too, just because you said that. I'm not going to put myself at risk of 20 minutes from now going, oh my God, the lady said 9-4 as a mistake and I corrected her. So both of them ended up losing, but whatever.
Yeah. No, I do that
You thought
every
that was
year.
going to have a
every
happy
year.
ending, didn't you?
I did. Not the ending I was looking for at that one.
Yeah.
So John, we talked about Bob. He's got a rivalry with Tiff. David Tuckman had some very strong words for you last week. He said that any time that you want to make a bet, he would be your book, meaning that he wants all of your action. Now he finds himself in a very uncompromising position in last place. Have you got any words of wisdom to share with David Tuckman, who was so hard on you last week?
I mean, I like to just let my talking happen in the win column, in the dollars and cents column. There's no reason to kick a man when he's down, and in this case, way down. So, I don't need to pick on him. I told you guys how this was going to go. People didn't realize there's a thing called foreshadowing, right? I told you week 1, maybe week 2, or I think before we ever started, I said I could get down to my last $100, come back and win this thing. Guys, I have been focused on giving you guys good TV. That's all this is. I'm not confident. I can just lay low and watch you little minions go up and down and ride the roller coaster. And when it's time to get serious, don't worry. I'm going to just crush you people. So
it's time.
I don't worry about it. It's time, right?
It's time, John. It's time.
Yeah.
Yep.
No
Ding,
worries.
ding.
Don't worry.
The bell's ringing. The bell is ringing. It is time.
It's time. It's time.
The minions are excited. On behalf of the minions, I'm excited. I can't wait to see it all.
I'm going all in this week.
I
respect that.
Okay, listen.
I'm going all in.
We got 3 weeks of the playoffs. There's only 3 weeks of this competition left. Bob, are you going to put some money on your alma mater this week when we're switching over to NCAA to March Madness? How much of a homer are you? Are we focusing on Friday when it all starts? Pardon me, the tournament starts on tomorrow on Thursday. What are you focusing on?
Well, I do think Spartans are going to go deep in the tourney. I really feel good about that. I don't know a lot about the NCAA tournament this year. I mean, I really don't, but I've been doing some homework, trying to be, an educated. I'm sick of the tomfoolery that I've been dialing myself into lately. So I'm going to try and sharpen the saw and get on a horse and try to win this damn thing. So yeah, I got some work to do. And I will say, I like Johnny O's style, man. I'm not going to commit to going all in, but I definitely think I got to start rallying the troops a little bit and get some money going.
Yeah, it's time to start swinging.
It is time to start swinging. All right, boys, the best of luck to you both. Jon Orlando, the big winner. That's my horse. I still have him to win it all. And Bob Guiney, as I said, I think that you're going to have a big week. So good luck. Week 2 in the playoffs. That is Bob Guiney and Jon Orlando. Take it easy, fellas.
See you guys. Thank you.
Jon Orlando and Bob Guiney. What a couple of great guys. Sadly, Kip, Bob Guiney was not the only one to take it right in the heart of the khakis this past weekend. I too took an L. You gained great vengeance on me with Tiffany Michelle's below average week, beating Bridget Case's awful week. I hope you feel good about yourself.
Oh, I do.
I'm coming right back at it, though. You picked up your second win. I'm coming right back. Only the men are available here for this week's contest. Who will win the most money? And I believe, even though he has less money to use, that David Tuckman will have the best week of the 3 men. Who are you going to battle me with?
Do you hear it? It's piercing me. It's a side action siren. Who's the champ of side action right now? Me. And I'm going to go with an underdog. Somebody who's never won in this. Somebody who we've only taken and abused and beaten up. And now, this week, Divine Providence, I am betting on Bob Guiney. What about Bob? He is finally ready to come out. He's been on top before. He's going to be on top again. And he knows that you do not like his action. And it has actually put a bit of a burning fire underneath him. All right? But speaking of burning fires, David Tuckman has a burning fire in his heart for Jon Orlando in this week's edition of The Song of Shame.
Week 7 was bad, and now I'm sad, because I'm being forced to sing to some dude who thinks he's a king. Jon Orlando, you're not a manhole, despite the fact you probably drive a Lambo. You're just Jon Orlando.
Okay. Let's get a better effort next time this week. All right. We are coming up week 2 of the playoffs, and Jimmy and I, we are going to the madness, the March Madness. We are marching in to the LSU versus Iowa State. Jimmy, what are you thinking?
Well, I like LSU. I think they can take out Iowa State. I think they can dominate the glass, but I will probably not make a pregame bet. We've seen 11 seeds upset 6 seeds, and we know that Iowa State Cyclone fans travel. So I would like Iowa State to get off to a nice start and then get a chance to get in on LSU at plus money.
I like LSU, and I like the under. That's it for this week's episode. Next week, you can find Jimmy and I, Play USA YouTube. Get there a little bit early. We'll be throwing action around. If you want to jump in on something with us, you got to show up to play. And that's it. I'm signing all the way out of here. My name is Kiprios. I am out for the best better.
My name is Jimmy the Bag. Second round of the playoffs. March Madness. Things don't get more exciting than this. Let's go.
Let's go. Last one standing wins the chip, earns $2,500, and is crowned the best better.